Good evening. Welcome to the Dali Museum. My name is Kimberly McQuarrie, and I'm the Director of Programming. And we are incredibly lucky tonight to have an evening of jazz. And we're going to be joined by Grammy Award-winning tenor saxophonist Wayne Escoffery, who is also a lecturer in jazz at the Yale School of Music. And he's going to be accompanied by a local trio, La Lucha. So prepare yourselves to be wowed and amazed, and let's give it up for them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Dolly Museum and welcome to our event. It's my pleasure to be here with this wonderful trio, La Lucha Trio. And it's a pleasure being here at the Dolly Museum. You know, I generally live in New York City, travel all around the world and all around the country playing music, and this is my vacation. But you know, we can't get away from playing music, and when I don't play enough, I get a little antsy. So, decided to do a little performance for you guys here. And you know, I visited this museum last summer and really had an amazing time. Just, of course, checking out Dolly's work and just this wonderful place. So I'm glad to be back here and making some art here myself. Before I continue, I'd like to introduce you to the members of the aggregation. That's John O'Leary on the piano. Alejandro Arena on the bass. Mark Feynman is on the drums. And in case you don't know who I am, first you should be ashamed of yourselves. Second, my name is Wayne Escoffery and I play the tenor saxophone. Thank you very much. So what we're doing is we're playing music celebrating the modern masters of the tenor saxophone. I think it's fitting to do here in the museum. You know, one of the things that took me from when I first fell in love with Dolly, in fact, the first time I went to a Dolly exhibit was actually in London, maybe around 10 years ago, something like that. They had a great exhibit. And when I visited here last summer, of course, I was taken by his mastery. And I think as jazz musicians, that's really important to us, and it takes a lot to be able to play this music at a high level. And so we respect and really admire other artists of any vocation who are really, exemplify excellence and excellence in their craft, technical excellence, theoretical excellence. And Dolly certainly had that. But one of the great things about him and about certain artists in our field, because a lot of people have great technical ability and a lot of people have a great theoretical understanding of what they do. But when you have that level of excellence in relation to creativity, that adds a whole nother thing. And Dolly was not only a master of his craft, but he also was dedicated to being creative and didn't settle for the status quo. And I think many of our favorite musicians are that way. So we're celebrating the modern masters of the saxophone who are also that way. Those saxophonists who were really exemplified excellence in their craft, but also really strive to be as creative as they possibly could at all times. And so that first composition was a piece written by the great tenor saxophonist Joe Henderson, one of my favorites, and he called that Y Todavía La Quiero. We're going to play mostly pieces by these tenor saxophone masters, but this next piece we're going to play is actually a song that I wrote about a week ago, Looking at the Beach. So this is actually a piece, it's a contrafact, and what a contrafact melody is, I'm a Yale professor, so I always have to educate people. So anyway, what a contrafact melody, I'm preparing myself for when school starts up again. Ugh. So a contrafact melody is when you write a melody over a pre-existing song form. Okay, so this was done most famously by George Gershwin's "I Got Rhythm" and things like that, right? So that's a great way that in jazz and in the bebop era in particular, musicians would write new melodies over pre-existing sets of chord changes. So one of our favorite musicians is, of course, John Coltrane. Pretty much every tenor saxophone player loves John Coltrane. But another favorite musician of ours from around that same era is the trumpeter named Freddie Hubbard. And Freddie Hubbard wrote a contrafact over John Coltrane's Giant Steps, and he called that contrafact Dear John, in dedication to John Coltrane. So what I did this week, because I was bored, is I wrote a contrafact over Freddie Hubbard's Dear John, and I call this Sincerely Yours. You know, one of the things that us jazz musicians have a little bit of a bad habit of doing is we always play the music of a lot of these musicians that we admire after they're gone. And so I try to make it a point of playing some of the music of these guys while they're still here. And the next piece we're going to play is by a musician I think who is really revered by jazz musicians and just people in general, again, for his, of course, his technical abilities, but also his artistic pursuit of creativity in his compositions and in his improvisations. And we're talking about the master saxophonist and composer Wayne Shorter. And this is a piece of his called Dance Cadaverous. Thank you. That's a song that, for me, got reinvented by the great tenor saxophone master Dexter Gordon. And I'm not a big fan of the holidays, but one of the reasons I like this particular holiday that just left us is that I get a chance to play that song. I can only play it once a year or so. So that was the Christmas song. I think we're gonna play one more for you. This is, it's funny. There are a lot of great saxophone players and just musicians in general that some of us talk about. And the music industry, like any other industry, is difficult. And there's a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of each industry has its own hurdles. And so my point is that some of the musicians that you've heard us play the music of, and some of the musicians who you hear about on the radio, are those that were picked up by major record labels and who had a lot of support over the years for whatever reason. A lot of it has to do with their artistic abilities, of course. A lot of it has to just do with politics or who's there in the room at that particular time. But there are certain musicians that, despite not necessarily having gotten the amount of accolades as they deserve in a certain community, they're still community, they're still revered. And one of those musicians for me is a great tenor saxophonist, George Coleman. Of course, those that know of his name a little bit know that he worked with Miles Davis, but he was really a great modern tenor saxophone master and went on to do a lot of important things on the saxophone, and is still with us and still playing. So we'd like to close with a piece of his that he wrote. And one of the great things, and I might say before I continue, let's hear it one more time for this great trio, La Lucha Trio. This is John O'Leary on the piano. That's Alejandro Arena on the bass. And Mark Feynman on the piano. On the drums. And one of the great things about being a musician, one of the good perks is that we get to travel all over the world, and we've all been to a lot of amazing places that many people may never ever get to visit. And some of those places we frequent for a variety of reasons. And one of those places that I know that I've frequented in the past, and I'm sure George Coleman has, as he titled this tune after it. This is a composition called Amsterdam After Dark. Yours truly, Wayne Escoffery. Yours truly, Wayne Escoffery on the tenor saxophone. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. Hopefully see you again soon. Thank you.